Hey y'all, Tyler from O.T.R.Outdoors. Now it's kind of bright and I'm off in the shadows here. It's really the only spot I got good light right now. But been out hiking around, tracking down the deer, seeing where they're moving around, getting ready to start sitting in the stand now that it's cooled off some. Been a pretty busy fire season, that's why there's a little bit of a break in, sorry, I got a bug crawling on my arm there. Since the last video, I want to say it's been about 2 months, but got a bit of a slowdown with the rain we had. Most of Eastern America got good rain, so it kind of slowed down right now. I was thinking about it the last couple of days, but I want to do a bow drill fire. So since I'm down here hanging out, I'm going to go harvest a piece out of the woods here and get a bow drill fire going. So I'm going to look through the edge of the woods here and see if I can't find something to harvest. You want a piece that's dead standing, been there a little while, a little bit soft, and do the fingernail trick on it. So let's see if we can find something, and then we'll come back and maybe harvest some of these grasses here and find us a really nice flashy type tinder. Maybe some of this stuff here will probably work pretty good if I don't completely flood you out with the light there. This real downy stuff right here, come on, focus for me. Put that towards the center, and some of these grasses on the outside. There's not a lot of big cedars around here. Scrape off cedar. I can find a dead tulip poplar. That'd work pretty good. There's a clump of them here. They all look like they're still alive for the most part. Once I find something, I'll bring y'all back. Alright, y'all. So, there's a piece right in the middle of the screen. It's all the way up there. Kind of gets lost in that other tree in front of us. Sorry, my camera shut off for some reason. So that piece right there in front of us I just showed you. I'm going to kind of cut my way into that one, see how it looks. I think it'll work pretty good. Based on the bark, I think it's a cottonwood tree. But the bark's kind of sloughing off. It's definitely dead, but it's still got a top on it, so it shouldn't have water running down the middle of it. So I'm going to, like I said, cut my way in there, see how it looks, and see if we can get it to come down. Alright. Back. So we'll get this back to camp, gather up a bird's nest. So that's what I got, some really fine fluffy stuff. And now I'm going to find, this is what's going to hold my ember once we get it with the bow drill set. So now I'm going to find some more coarse material and probably some of these grasses for the outside pieces. I'm going to set this down so I'm going to hold it in my hand. Let me get over here where I can see in here. So I don't want to sit here and hold it in my hand, because as my hand sweats it's going to add moisture to this, and that'd be really bad for trying to get my fire started. So I'm going to find me a big leaf, probably off this hickory tree or this oak tree over here behind me, and set it on that somewhere in the sun so it'll actually dry out even more as I'm getting the other materials. Alright y'all, so I just found this piece. It's got some good flower tops. I'm going to steal and add to that initial starting area. Leaves are actually really dry too, so I'm going to take some of them. I want some of these flower tops that still have the nice downy feathery stuff on top. I'm just going to break this off. So it's a nice big open area. It's got good wind on it, so everything's dry, but you see this nice tufty stuff. If I pull that out, it's going to be really, really fine fibrous hairs on the inside. So we're going to use that for the inside along with that other stuff I collected. And the outer portions of my bundle can be these really small pieces here. So I'm finding 2 of the main parts I need for my bird nest all together on this one plant. So the other thing I found at the tops of these grasses that are starting to let go. I don't know how well you can see them where you're at right now, but these right here, these super fine thin pieces, so let me get that shadow off. These are going to work really good, and there's a whole bunch right here. I can just come through, pull these out of the top. This is super fine. That one's still a little bit alive. So I'm going to just hit the creek. I don't know how well. Let's see what I'm doing here. Maybe a little out of frame. This super fine stuff right here. All right, so we got the top of this tree cut out. I cut into another piece, as you can see here. It wasn't looking great, so I went ahead and took the top off. There's a nice big check in it. Just a crack all the way down here. So I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna try and get it to split with the axe. If not, I'll get the knife out and we'll baton it down. So let me see if I can get this to split, and then we'll get our hearth board and our spindle. So I'm going to work this down with my knife a little bit more, and I'll split it one more time. I'll get my saw out, cut that down, and then take this back side off so it's flat, and we'll go from there. Alright, so there's my hearth board. Focus for me. I already put a little bit of where my spindle's going to go into with my axe. I'm going to sit over here in the sun. Make sure it's not on the ground. Let that sun dry it out as much as possible. Now we'll get our spindle cut. Use the other half of this piece that I just cut off of here. And get it cut down with my saw, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so there's my basic rough of my spindle. And take my little more carving knife and get it done up a little bit more. See which side is the smallest. Get this work down to where this end's going to go into my bearing block, and this one's going to go into my hearth. So we get this work down a little bit, and we'll get our bow, get our bird nest put together, and we'll go pick out a rock out of the creek for our bearing block. Alright, so spindle's done. Walk down here to the creek, see if I can find me a little rock, a little divot to use for a bearing block. Nice even hole right there, and it's got moss in it, so it should help it spin pretty good. As long as I can get it braced right, we should be alright. I'm also going to let this rock dry out in the sun while I get our bird nest and tinder bundle all straightened up. All I'm going to do is blow this into flame. I'm not even going to start a fire with it. It's too hot for that, but I wanted to get an ember. I wanted to get an ember and at least blow it into flame today. So let me let this dry out and then we'll get our tender bundle straightened up. Nice fine, really fine stuff right there. Set it in the sun on my mat so it doesn't get wet. It's got some pokies on it. Finished bird's nest. It's not the best, it's really quick. Got some grass tied around it with the sticks in the back that are squeezing it together, so when I pick it up I have something to hold on to down here on this end, so I'm not holding the flame or where the coal's going to be. Okay, so to set my bow up, I'm going to put a bowline knot. There's something near my mat here stabbing me in the leg. So I'm going to put a bowline knot. I've shown this, I know I've shown this on Instagram. I think I showed this on another video before too. So I'm going to take my running in, over 2 fingers, rotate, reach through, pull a loop or bite, take my running in, through, over, pull it tight. So there's a bowline. I cut this piece on purpose so it'd have a nice loop on the end there. And bring it straight down, about like that. I'm going to cut a groove real quick with my saw right in the bottom there for this to sit in. And then as I go, when this 550 cord stretches, I can tighten it down by squeezing or loosening. Here, it's a piece off of when we were shaving down or cutting down the hearth board. This is going to go underneath my hearth to catch my coal so I can then transfer it from this into my bird nest. So first thing I'm going to do, get this nice and flat. And I don't have to worry about this right now. All I'm going to do is burn in. So I'm going to get my notch to where it and my spindle marry up. And I may have this a little too tight, but we're going to see how it goes. That's a pretty good sign we got smoke right off the bat on the first try. So I can tell I'm really just making contact on the sides and not the bottom yet. So I'm gonna trim that down just a little bit. All right, and this dust that I did get is now going to go on to my catch piece. And I'm gonna cut my notch on my hearth board. And I'm gonna trim it up some, get it nice and even. That may be a little wide, but we'll make it work. So I do like to cut the grooves on the bottom. It just allows for more space for your coal to build, so you have a bigger coal. The goal is to fill up this notch with dust before I ever try and go really hard. So even when I have smoke, I'm not gonna go hard until that notch is completely full of dust, and then it'll be go time. One of the other big things you wanna make sure you do when you're running your bow, use the whole bow. And I have a bad habit of not doing that. I'm gonna try and pay attention, make sure I'm using the whole bow so I'm not shorting myself with the rotations. All right, with your spindle, I didn't show this a while ago when I did the burn end. Your burn end goes up into your bow and then rotate it down. just like that. My rock just broke. Alright y'all, so my big camera just died and I just showed you my rock broke. So there's another little divot on here where I've kind of shoved my spindle in there, and we're gonna try and use that portion now. So we're gonna give this one more try. Alright, so I'm burning back in, new notch. Take your time, let that breathe, catch your breath. I'm gonna take my extra dust off the top that's still warm, put that into the dust I added to my bird's nest earlier. Get this so y'all can see me here. I'm gonna take my coal and add it in there. My bird nest is wanting to fall apart on me here. what happens when you shortchange your bird nest. And now I've lost it. All right, there's your lesson for the day. Don't shortchange your bird nest. Which, like I said earlier, that's on me. Sorry, I just blew stuff all over the lens there. I don't know if y'all can see me. So, got a good set. So I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna go get a proper bird nest instead of cutting myself short. Like I said, I was just gonna blow it into flame. I'm trying to cheat with friction fire. Can't do it. You can't cheat the system. You can't cheat the way it's supposed to work. Otherwise, you're gonna end up like I just did and have a beautiful great ember and it not go anywhere because there's not enough material for the coal to build to generate enough heat to turn into flame. So give me a minute. All right. I now have a proper bird nest. Same materials. I also found a little bit of cedar bark on a very, very small cedar. So we know this board's good. So I'm gonna get a little bit of dust going and then just go to town with it. So if you watch here where my finger is pointing, that's where my dust is gonna build up. There's a little bit of dust on the board from earlier. I'll leave that there. So we should be able to get a bit of dust and then just go. Get this adjusted so y'all can see me. There we go. Whew. Had to work for that one. All right. Let me get this stuff put away and then we'll talk for a minute. All right, so what we learned today. Bow drill fire takes work. Just the way it is. And you can get lucky. I've had sets first time, no problem. Easy to do, spindle work great. Bearing block was perfect, all those things. Had to work for it today. A little bit more than usual. Well, I say a little more than usual. It's about average. There are people that can do it way better than I can, that's for sure. It takes practice. It's one of those things that if you don't practice it, you're not going to be proficient at it. It's a good skill to have. It's little nuances. It's the little things. I skimped on the bird nest on the first one. Happens. First hole we burned in, made my notch too big because I wasn't paying attention, which was fine. If I hadn't broke the rock the first time, we probably could have forced one out of that. But when I did that, board cooled off, had to get it restarted, and then we blew the notch itself, blew out the notch, where your notch comes into your hole, or into the divot where your spindle sits. We blew that out because the rock broke and we had to start over with the cold hearth. Second one worked great. Got the first bird nest going. First bird nest was insufficient because I was being lazy. Simple as it is. I was lazy on that one. Got the second bird nest, same hole, half the time. Once you get a good set, you get a good hole, you get a good rhythm, you get all the little nuances, little tiny things straightened out, and it works. Problem is, something like that, got to keep it dry all the time. If you're going to keep using the same board, got to keep it dry, got to take care of it. It's just the way it is. There's nothing else you can really do about it. In an absolute positive emergency where it's just no other option, it's a good skill to have, but there's so many other tools at your disposal. Ferro rod works soaking wet, works cold, works frozen, doesn't matter, works when it's hot. That you got to keep dry. That takes a lot of effort. That's burning a lot of calories. And in the whole survival game, calories are king. That's the thing you got to have, is calories. If you're out here having fun, yeah, absolutely, go do it. It's a great skill to practice. It's a great thing to have fun with. I mean, go back to all the books I read as a kid. That's how they started their fires a lot of times. And then it was flint and steel. And I've done those before. Y'all have seen me do those before. So it's just the little nuances, it's practice. It can be done, it takes practice, it takes the right materials. We're gonna do a couple more of those coming up. Some other trees I saw that I just didn't want to hike out to today. We're also gonna try some different kinds of trees. Like I said, I'm 99% sure that was a cottonwood tree. I know there's some poplar on the other end of the woods here. We'll try that. That's probably been my most successful type of wood to use, is tulip poplar. Pine works pretty good if it's the right kind of pine. Pine likes to rot quick, so you got to catch it just right. Cedar's a good one. I don't think there are any big cedars around here that are dead that we could cut something off of, but we'll do some more. Stay tuned. There'll be an overnighter coming up. I'll be filming that tomorrow probably, and it'll be up the week after this video's up, so stay tuned for that. Remember, there's always a storm coming. Keep your powder dry, your action knife sharp, and eye on your back trail. We'll see y'all next time.